I know for a fact that's not the end of his story.
Right.
He coming from under that shit.
They got Lil Durk in a hole for basically some BS. And right now we're going to show the paper.
Right after an inmate exposed Lil Durk's rough reality behind bars, shocking footage of his release started blowing up online. The internet went crazy. Nobody expected it to look like this. Rappers like G Herbo had been teasing that something major was coming, but not a single person could have guessed what was really going down.
Vlad, this is
Life?
This is a life imprisonment case.
Okay.
There's no in between. This isn't state court. There's no,
Right.
hey, we'll do 10, 15. It's a life case.
The real reason behind Durk's release turned out to be wild, and it all started when his legal team dropped a recording that had fans furious. They revealed disturbing details about his time locked up, limited access to calls, harsh treatment, and isolation so extreme that fans started worrying about his safety and even his health. That moment changed everything. It pushed the conversation about Durk's case to a whole new level, and fans started calling out other rappers for not stepping up. People online were saying things like, "Where's the love for Durk?" because many felt the support wasn't matching the situation he was in. To really understand why his release hit so hard, you gotta rewind the timeline. On October 24th, 2024, Durk got arrested in Broward County, Florida, near Miami International Airport. Just one day earlier, on October 23rd, 5 members of his Only the Family crew were hit with indictments. Kayvon London, Grant DeAndre, Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston. Authorities claimed Durk was the mastermind behind the entire operation. After that, he was extradited to Los Angeles and arraigned on November 15th, 2024, where he pled not guilty. The judge wasn't having it, ordered detention with no bond. From that day on, every single attempt to get him released failed.
If you and I talk, state cases are kind of middle school basketball, and federal cases are kind of the NBA all-star in terms of the complexity and everything that goes into it.
In December 2024, bail got denied again after prosecutors brought up jail calls that broke rules, like Durk allegedly using other inmates' phone accounts to make secret 3-way calls. Then in May 2025, another bail review got shut down because of more jail infractions.
Smirk is in there, man, realizing the world don't stop spinning because you locked.
June 2025 came around, and prosecutors claimed Durk had even tried to flee to Dubai before getting caught, and once again, bail was denied. Every single time, the answer was a cold, hard no. Then came August 2025, and things got even darker. Durk was thrown into solitary confinement after getting caught with an unauthorized Apple Watch. That's when he was moved to the Special Housing Unit, SHU, basically total isolation. He spent 131 days locked away like that. No visits, no calls, no real contact with the outside world.
So that just never happens in a federal case. And I'm saying this to the guy that did an iconic interview of Sammy the Bull Gravano, right?
His legal team finally snapped. On January 6, 2026, they filed a motion saying that keeping him in solitary for that long broke federal regulations and possibly violated the 8th Amendment. The very next day, January 7, 2026, the court agreed to a review hearing, and that's when everything started to change. By January 15, 2026, things finally shifted.
People are locked in. I mean, they are locked in. They're in front of grand juries. There are multiple interviews.
Lil Durk was taken out of the SHU and placed back into general population. After months in isolation, this was the first real sign of change. A follow-up hearing had been set for February 9th to review the solitary confinement issue, but it got canceled since the problem was already handled. Durk was officially out of the box. Since then, there have been no new violations or updates on his custody status. For once, the chaos seemed to calm down. Still, let's be clear, Durk isn't free.
And I'm sensitive to that issue because I don't know of another art form, and you have your finger on the pulse of rap as good as anybody in the world right now.
He's still in federal custody, still held without bond, and still facing charges that could lock him away for life. But for the first time in months, he's got a little bit of humanity back. He can make calls, see visitors, and interact with people again. For fans who've been tracking every move like it's a championship series, that tiny bit of progress felt huge. Even his lawyer called it a small but meaningful step, and that couldn't be more true. It's progress, but it's just the beginning. The real war hasn't even started yet. The charges against Durk are intense, straight out of a crime drama, except every name in the file is real, and one person actually lost their life. Durk is facing one count of conspiracy to commit murder for hire, one count of using interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and one count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms, including a machine gun, in furtherance of a violent crime that ended in death. If he's found guilty of all of that, he's looking at spending the rest of his life in behind bars. And it gets even heavier. Federal prosecutors have confirmed they're going for the death penalty. This is as serious as it gets. No plea deal, no shortcut, no easy way out.
And I guarantee you that Vlad cannot tell me another musical genre in which the government plays the game.
As his attorney Drew Finley told DJ Vlad, this is a binary case. It's all or nothing. That statement hits hard because it's true. There's no halfway point here. Either Durk walks out one day or he never does. The federal system don't play around, especially not when the charges involve murder for hire and machine guns. Finley made it crystal clear. This isn't a state case where deals are made quietly in back rooms. This is federal, where every move is under a microscope. The real complexity starts with the backstory. The roots of this case trace all the way back to November 2020, when Durk's close friend and OTF artist Davon Bennett, better known as King Von, was killed outside an Atlanta nightclub. The incident allegedly involved the crew of Georgia rapper Tim and Terrell Bowman, known as Quando Rondo. That night changed everything. What went down outside that club set off a chain of events that would follow Durk for years, straight into the center of a federal case that's now threatening to take his freedom forever.
They got Lil Durk in a hole for basically some BS. And right now we're going to show the paper.
Prosecutors claim that what happened next took this case from shocking to downright explosive. They're saying Lil Durk allegedly put a bounty on Quando Rondo's head, and that bounty, according to the feds, led to a failed assassination attempt on August 19, 2022 at a gas station near the Beverly Center Mall in Los Angeles. Quando Rondo survived, but his 24-year-old cousin, L.A. Robinson, Saya L.P.A. Robinson, wasn't so lucky. He lost his life in the crossfire that night. The evidence prosecutors are bringing forward is massive, detailed down to the smallest move. They've got flight records showing OTF members flying from Chicago to California using credit cards linked to Durk's label. They've got hotel bookings, phone logs, and messages they claim tie everything back to the plot. According to prosecutors, Durk masterminded the whole thing, allegedly offering cash bounties and music opportunities as rewards for whoever carried it out. The way the government paints it, Durk wasn't just a rapper, he was a powerful artist, using his fame, money, and connections to allegedly order a hit, and it all spiraled into tragedy when an innocent person ended up dead. But what really ups the danger level here is the cooperation deal the feds made with one of Durk's own people, OTF Jam, whose real name is Jam Norman. Reports say Norman has flipped, cooperating with federal authorities and giving up information that directly implicates Durk, all in exchange for a lighter sentence. That move changed the entire game.
And then we started doing our homework, interviewing the producers, and found out that that song and the Durk part of it was done 7 months before.
Now this ain't your average snitch situation like what happens in state cases. In the federal system, it's a whole different beast. Durk's lawyer, Drew Finley, even talked about this, comparing it to the collapse of Lil Woody's testimony in the Young Thug RICO trial, something that, as he pointed out, doesn't happen in federal court. Finley made it clear. In federal cases, cooperating witnesses go through multiple interviews. They testify before grand juries, and if they ever backtrack or change their story, they face perjury and false statement charges on top of everything else. There's no walking it back. The system is designed to lock them in, and it works. When federal cooperators take the stand, they don't fall apart or get caught lying. They come prepared, they stick to the script, and they deliver exactly what prosecutors want because their own freedom depends on it. That's why this part of Durk's case is so dangerous. It's not just about evidence, it's about people who have everything to lose if they don't hold their story together. Prosecutors also dropped another bomb. They claimed Durk might be tied to even more bounties, including one targeting a family member of a witness and another connected to a Chicago murder.
He's not going to sit in the middle row for 17 hours in the back of the plane. A lot of people would. It's just more of a distraction.
No extra charges have been filed yet, but the hints alone have fueled major speculation online. Meanwhile, the discovery in this case is insane. Over 30,000 pages of documents, photos, texts, and records. That mountain of evidence is one of the main reasons the trial keeps getting pushed back. The legal teams are drowning in paperwork. If the charges are the prosecution's sword, then Durk's legal team is using courtroom motions as their shield, blocking, challenging, and fighting every single detail they can. And the most intense battlefield of all, the ongoing fight over whether Lil Durk's own music can be used against him in court. Prosecutors are fighting to use Lil Durk's own lyrics and visuals to try and lock him up for life, and that's where things get heated. On February 4th, 2026, they pushed to bring Durk's songs, videos, and imagery into the courtroom, arguing that his art reveals his motive and intent. Just 5 days later, on February 9th, 2026, the judge came back with a split ruling, a move that sent shockwaves through both the hip-hop world and legal circles. Certain lines from Durk's track Hanging with Wolves got blocked from evidence. Prosecutors were dying to use a bar where Durk talks about hopping on a flight with a warrant and daring law enforcement to catch him. The judge shut that down, saying those words only hinted at flight risk, not the actual murder for hire charges. But other lyrics and videos are still on the table.
He's got kids. He's got family. He's got his mom who he loves. He's got his dad who he's waited until 2019, after 26 years, to have a relation.
Meaning the jury might get to see parts of Durk's creative world in court. This legal tug-of-war over rap lyrics isn't new, but in Durk's case, it's turned into one of the most explosive battles of the entire trial. His attorney, Drew Finley, has been outspoken about how unfair it is to use art as evidence. He's made it clear this fight isn't just about Durk, it's about a system that targets one genre and the black artists who built it. Finley's argument runs deep. He says prosecutors are trying to act like music critics without understanding a single thing about how a track is actually made. According to him, that kind of ignorance isn't just lazy, it's dangerous. It leads to people losing their freedom over artistic expression, not real crimes. He even described the way prosecutors work like they're playing a twisted game of Where's Waldo, searching through thousands of verses just to find one line they can twist into something criminal. The image hits hard. It makes it sound like the government isn't analyzing real evidence, they're cherry-picking rhymes that fit their story. Finley's message is clear. If journalists and fans can take time to understand how recording sessions actually happen, how lyrics are pieced together over hours in the studio, and how music reflects emotion, not confession, then prosecutors, the people with the power to send a man away forever, should be doing the same homework. But he insists they don't, and that failure doesn't just hurt Durk, it damages the entire genre. It's part of why so many artists are scared their creativity could be used as a weapon against them. One of the biggest flashpoints in Durk's defense is the song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, featuring Durk and Babyface Ray. Prosecutors even added this track to a superseding indictment, claiming the lyrics celebrated and monetized the death of Xavier Robinson and the attempted hit on Quando Rondo. Philly fired back hard, laying out exactly why that claim falls apart under real scrutiny. He broke down how context, collaboration, and music industry marketing can completely twist how a lyric looks in court. What the feds call confession, Finley says is performance, an artistic persona, not a real-life playbook. And in this case, that distinction could be the difference between freedom and life behind bars.
I enjoy my time with him. He smiles. He smiles from ear to ear. He's just respectful to everybody on the team.
The defense team came in swinging, and what they uncovered could flip everything upside down. After digging into the production timeline of the song in question, they found that Lil Durk's verse was actually recorded 7 months before the August 2022 shooting even happened. That's right, the track existed long before the tragedy prosecutors claim it was celebrating. If the defense proves that in court, it would shatter the government's narrative completely.
I know for a fact that's not the end of his story. Right. He coming from under.
As Durk's lawyer Drew Finley bluntly put it, Unless Durk had psychic abilities, the song had nothing to do with the incident. That one fact alone could blow a massive hole in the prosecution's story. But the defense didn't stop there. They also tackled the viral YouTube fan edits, videos where random users added screaming audio that sounded eerily similar to Quando Rondo reacting to his cousin's death. Finley cleared that up fast, saying those clips were made by random fans in their basements and garages and had zero connection to Durk, Babyface Ray, or any official music company. It was all fan-made chaos, not evidence. Outside of the lyrics war, Durk's lawyers have been filing motion after motion trying to get this entire case thrown out. Back in April 2025, they filed to dismiss the case for allegedly misleading the grand jury by presenting altered lyrics. But by November 2025, the judge shot that motion down. Then the defense tried again, this time arguing that undisclosed death threats made against the judge and prosecutor had tainted the case and compromised its fairness. Once again, denied. They even filed another motion on November 18, 2025, claiming the indictment was too vague to hold up. And yep, that one was denied too. Every time they make a move, the court pushes back. But Finley and his team refuse to fold. Because when you're facing life in federal prison, you fight every single battle like it's your last. Durk's family also stepped in with a powerful public statement that hit straight to the heart. They said the government had presented false evidence to a grand jury and that Durk has always used music to tell stories, express pain, and heal. The family made it clear they won't stay silent while black artists keep getting criminalized for their creativity. That message sent a shockwave through fans and the industry alike. Then there's the never-ending bond fight, and it's brutal. Every single time Durk's team is asked to let him await trial at home instead of being stuck in the Metropolitan Detention Center, the judge has hit them with the same answer: no. Each denial has been tied to the same question: if we let him out, will he run? Prosecutors have built that flight claim into one of their strongest weapons. When Durk got arrested on October 24, 2024, U.S. Marshals picked him up near Miami International Airport, and authorities claimed he was trying to flee the country. They pointed to multiple international flight bookings under his name and even under the names of his associates, including tickets to Dubai and Switzerland. That accusation has haunted every single bail request since then.
That's what really make him the GOAT to me, because when you come from where we come from and been through the stuff that we've been through, it's like, it's easy.
But the defense says the government story doesn't hold up, not even close. Finley revealed that his team pulled all the flight records, and what they found could seriously undercut the prosecution's version of events. The truth, according to the defense, tells a very different story, and it's one the court hasn't fully confronted yet. The defense dropped another major bomb. Those so-called escape flights the government kept waving around, they didn't even tell the full story. Every single one of those itineraries ended in Dubai, not in random cities the prosecutors highlighted. The feds had shown flight plans that stopped in Rome and other places, but what they conveniently left out was that Dubai was the final destination across the board. But what Drew Finley emphasized most wasn't just where the flights were going, it was how they were booked. These weren't luxury getaways or private jet escapes. They were commercial flights, booked in economy class, middle seats, way in the back rows. And Finley didn't sugarcoat his argument. He laid it out with pure common sense. He basically said, come on now, a man with Durk's money and global fame isn't about to disappear by squeezing into a middle seat on a 17-hour flight. It sounds ridiculous when you think about it. Someone as recognizable as Lil Durk can't exactly blend in on a packed commercial flight. The entire cabin would know who he was before takeoff. Finley pointed out that if Durk ever wanted to flee, he wouldn't be doing it on a budget airline. It would make zero sense. The defense also explained that the private jet mentioned in court filings wasn't part of some secret getaway plan. It was only considered after the commercial flight options turned out to be impractical. Finley argued that this proved Durk wasn't plotting an escape. He was just trying to manage travel logistics like any major touring artist would do. Then came a huge revelation that barely anyone following the case knew about. After Durk's team turned over the complete flight records to the federal probation office, the probation officer independently reviewed everything and came to a powerful conclusion. Lil Durk was not a flight risk. That official even recommended bail to the court, but the judge ignored it. Still, the fact that a federal officer whose entire job is to assess flight risk and safety sided with the defense was a major win for Durk's camp. Finley made sure the court heard every detail of the bond package they put together, and it's massive. It includes $1 million in cash, $900,000 in real estate, and another $150,000 pledged by an associate, plus 24-hour monitoring to make sure Durk stays in compliance. The message was loud and clear. They're backing his release with everything they've got.
Before.
He always been somebody that, like, through all the adversity of any trials and tribulations, he always been able to, like, overcome that shit and reinvent his.
The bond package on the table isn't just serious, it's airtight and includes armed security, electronic monitoring, and every safeguard imaginable. This isn't some casual deal. It's a setup designed to wipe out every possible risk the court could name. And still, the judge keeps saying no. Finley has been fighting hard, arguing that Lil Durk has every reason to stay put. He's got kids, family, and a mother he deeply loves. And there's another layer, his father, a man Durk barely got to reconnect with after decades apart. They didn't rebuild their relationship until 2019, and just as it started to heal, the pandemic came crashing down, cutting that progress short. That fragile bond with his father gives this whole situation a raw emotional weight. This isn't just about legal motions and paperwork. It's about a man's connection to the people who truly matter to him. Finley says that's exactly why Durk would never run. He's got too much to lose, too many people who need him right where he is. But the bond fight isn't over yet. Finley revealed that the defense plans to take things even higher, bringing the issue before a district court judge for what's called a de novo review. That means a fresh look at all the evidence, no bias, no recycled rulings, just a new judge seeing the full picture for the first time. The hope that someone finally sees beyond the prosecution's version and gives Durk a fair shot.
Sometimes that shit just make you a different type of animal, type of beast, where you just like hearing like, damn, everybody counting.
Still, the federal system moves painfully slow, and every single day without a decision means another day Durk sits inside. Sources close to the case say Durk himself has even filed new paperwork asking for bond or house arrest, trying to find any path toward freedom. But once again, no luck. The prosecution keeps recycling the same arguments, waving around those old flight bookings and jail infractions as proof he can't be trusted to follow release conditions. It's a frustrating cycle that's played out over and over again, and each repeat chips away at hope. Fans are starting to wonder if the system ever intends to give him a fair shot to prepare for trial from the outside. Now, let's talk about the trial itself, the one everyone says will decide whether Lil Durk spends the rest of his life behind bars. It's been pushed back so many times that the original date feels like it's from another lifetime. At first, it was set to January 7th, 2025, but that didn't last. Then it got delayed to October 2025, then to January 2026, and now it's sitting at April 24th, 2026, with a backup date of May 4th, 2026, just in case. Each delay has the same reason, the sheer mountain of discovery material and endless requests from co-defendants needing more time to prepare. It's a massive, tangled legal storm that just keeps growing. Meanwhile, Durk stays locked up, watching the months tick by, waiting for the day he finally gets his shot to fight for his freedom. Lil Durk has reportedly objected to the latest delay, making it crystal clear he's ready to go to trial and clear his name. That says a lot about where his head's at right now. A guilty man usually wants to drag things out, but someone who truly believes he's innocent, he wants his day in court as soon as possible. Durk's message is loud and clear. He's not running from the truth, he's running toward it. But between now and that April trial date, the legal war is far from over. There are still huge battles left to fight, especially over what kind of music and lyrics can actually be used against him. The judge's February 9th ruling blocked certain lines from Hanging with Wolves, but other songs and Mux videos are still being debated. Every time the court decides whether something gets included or excluded, it completely reshapes the battlefield for the jury. And in a case where prosecutors are leaning mostly on circumstantial evidence, things like messages, travel records, and testimony from cooperating witnesses, those pre-trial rulings could change everything. One decision could shift how the entire story gets told.
A lot of times when you get that big, people work overtime to try to pull you down, to try to pull you off of that mountaintop, you feel me?
Meanwhile, Drew Finley has opened up about Durk's mindset during all this chaos, and his description says a lot. Despite facing life in prison, Finley says Durk has stayed focused, calm, and resilient. When asked how he's holding up under that kind of pressure, Finley painted the picture of a man who refuses to crack. He described Durk as confident, polite, and respectful, someone who's maintaining his composure even when the odds look impossible. That quiet strength has started to stand out, showing fans and critics alike that he's not folding, he's fighting back with discipline and dignity. And according to those close to him, that same energy carries far beyond his lawyer's office. It's the mindset of a man determined to walk out of this storm stronger than he went in.
When Drew Finley talks about his client, his words paint a completely different picture than the one prosecutors are trying to push. He says Lil Durk is fully engaged, attentive, and genuinely grateful for everyone on his legal team fighting to keep him free. It's not the image of some heartless kingpin. It's the portrait of a man who's staying grounded, respectful, and deeply aware of what's at stake. That contrast couldn't be sharper. While the government tries to frame Durk as a cold-blooded mastermind, the reality Finley describes feels human, even humble. Whether a jury ever gets to hear about Durk's attitude behind bars is still uncertain, but for the people watching from the outside, the picture forming is one of calm under pressure, a man holding it together while the world waits to see what happens next. And Durk isn't facing this moment alone. Voices from his circle have stepped up too. One of the loudest belongs to G Herbo, a Chicago rap veteran who's known Durk for years and made music with him countless times. When asked directly in an interview about Durk's case, Herbo didn't hesitate for a second. His response wasn't cautious or diplomatic, it was pure confidence. Herbo said with absolute certainty that Durk will make it through this, no doubt about it. He spoke from experience, pointing out how many times he's seen Durk bounce back when everyone counted him out. Through career setbacks, legal drama, and personal pain, Durk has reinvented himself again and again, and every single time, he's come out stronger than before. That resilience, Herbo said, is what separates Durk from everyone else. It's not just about talent, it's about refusal to stay down. When life hits him hard, Durk doesn't fold, he flips the script, rebuilds, and finds a way to rise again. That kind of willpower is what's kept him standing through all the chaos. Still, Herbo didn't ignore how heavy this situation really is. When asked how it feels to see his friend go through such a brutal fight, he didn't hold back. He called it painful, straight up. He said watching Durk stuck in a system that seems determined to break him hurts deeply, not just because of the friendship, but because of what it represents. Herbo pointed out something real. Once you hit a certain level of success and fame, the pressure around you changes. People start watching for your mistakes, waiting for cracks to show, even trying to pull you down just to see if you'll fall. And for someone like Durk, who built everything from the ground up, that kind of energy cuts even deeper. But Herbo's confidence didn't waver for a second. He made it clear that this isn't the end of Durk's story. It's just another chapter he's about to survive. G Herbo didn't just show faith, he made a bold prediction that hit deep. He said this moment, no matter how dark or heavy it feels, will shape Lil Durk into something the world has never seen before. According to Herbo, what's coming next is a more dangerous, more focused, and more determined version of Durk, one who's been through the fire and is coming out sharper than ever. But whether that prophecy becomes reality, all depends on what goes down inside that Los Angeles courtroom around April 2026. The discovery files are still being combed through, the motions keep stacking up, and those cooperating witnesses are being coached for the stand, while Durk sits inside the Metropolitan Detention Center, waiting for the day he finally faces 12 jurors and tells his side of the story. The stakes couldn't be higher. It's freedom or forever. So the real question is, what do you think? Will Lil Durk walk out of this storm stronger than ever, or could everything spiral into something way darker? Drop your thoughts down below. I want to hear what you believe. And if you're locked in with this story and want the latest updates before anyone else, make sure to subscribe, like, and share, because this saga isn't done yet, and the next chapter is about to shake the game.